I'm Jim Christensen, Jr., president of inSOURCE, financial advisor for Ameritas, going on 40 years. Some of the experiences living with hemophilia, I would say age 5 or 6, I was pretty much disciplined to the knowledge that I knew there was no choice other than use crutches and/or wheelchair. The biggest problem back then, too, was insurance-related issues. Extremely expensive disease, and I had burned through my first $500,000 maximum plan that my dad did have. I ended up dropping out of high school and got my GED, so I could go to work full-time. So the challenge was on crutches or wheelchair and finding full-time work at 16, but there was really no choice in the matter because my dad did not have the option for other coverage back then. When it was out, it was out. I, at 14, met with my first CEO of a major insurance company, and we negotiated out costs and so on. So I learned to do my own treatments at home. And so that's why I was able to go to work and work full-time. Unfortunately, my health did deteriorate during a lot of these times, and I did go out on disability claim at 18, but was able to keep the health insurance plan because of that. You can imagine when you're 18 and file your first disability claim, it literally changed my life.
Hi, my name is James Ueda. I'm the Director of Development at the National Hemophilia Foundation. The mission of NHF is to cure inheritable blood disorders and prevent and address complications of these diseases through research, advocacy, and education. And at the center of everything we do are people. We're a people-centric organization. Jim has been a supporter of the National Hemophilia Foundation and the inheritable blood disorders community for a while now. He's been a donor since at least 1996, and I've had the pleasure of meeting Jim recently in the last few years.
I started working with the National Hemophilia Foundation in 1989 on a very small scale, of course. At that time, I became much more actively involved with our state chapter. The local chapter I was very involved in and pretty much served all the chair positions.
Jim, in the last few years, reached out to the National Hemophilia Foundation to see how he could become more involved and how he could give back more to the community.
We talked about different ways of support that could be given for National. And one of the things that we talked about is what these new, at that time, prescription drug card plans could make available and what they could do for hemophiliacs as consumers. The biggest gap was for the kind of craziest of reasons. All of a sudden, we went from when I was born, life expectancy was 24, and it went up by about 5 years as science and technology improved. Now today, a young hemophiliac really leads, if they are treated with proper meds, is close to the same life expectancy as anybody else. One of the biggest issues we have today is almost 50% of the meds that are prescribed are left on the counter because people can't afford to pay for them. Medication last year for me alone was $1.1 million, and that was my claims just for the blood clotting factor that I take. There was no way to solve that other than a fully insured plan, but what we were trying to solve for was the issues surrounding now the drugs that everybody else would take, whether it be cholesterol or heart meds. And to most hemophiliac, those always seem like kind of issues that we'd never probably deal with, but we are dealing with them today. So how do we get some of those drugs covered if it was not for a good prescription drug plan. In 2017, I came up with the idea to start inSOURCE RX. inSOURCE RX is a philanthropically driven prescription drug discount program. I asked the question, what if we wanted to take the majority of our net profits back and give back to the underlying philanthropic organization? We've been now at it officially for about 9 months. James has worked with us off and on through this whole process, and we are really moving it now even to a new level. Right now we have over 5 million consumers that have signed up for the card.
The Rosen Award is a humanitarian award through Ameritas, where the recipient gets to designate a charity to receive a financial grant. Jim Christensen is the 2021 recipient of the Lester Rosen Award, a longtime supporter of the National Hemophilia Foundation, who designated us as the beneficiary.
When I found out that I was the recipient of the Rosen Award, I was surprised, honored, extremely honored. And I'm not a teary-eyed person, but I will be honest, I was that emotional about the whole thing. I would say today, having the grant given to the Hemophilia Foundation does bring a new level of pride for me that I think will make a real difference for the organization.
The financial support is amazing, and the opportunity to speak and for people to be able to hear this message about what we're doing is tremendous.
The support from the Hemophilia Foundation, again, has been so far-reaching, and so it really is just an honor to be able to help support this community that means so much to me.